So I'm hoping you've saved your gravity. Now we're going to do a realistic jump. Let's have a look. So you must have done the extension realistic gravity, or this one won't work. Okay, so I'm going to go back into Scratch now, and I'm going to look at the jump. At the moment, when I hit the space, I just move the position of Y. Again, it kind of teleports it. So instantly it goes up and up and up. Okay. You see? It's kind of a bit jerky. The other thing is, just like Flappy Birds, I can make my unicorn almost fly. But it's not an alicorn, it's a unicorn. So we got to stop that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this bit of coding. I can take advantage now of the Y velocity. When you think about when you jump up in the air, what you're doing is you're crouching your legs and you're then accelerating yourself up, so that by the time that you've finished stretching your legs, you've actually got quite a high speed going up in a direction. So your velocity, your vertical velocity, is a huge positive. The moment you stop accelerating up, the moment your legs are fully stretched, hopefully you'll leave the ground, but the gravity will then start acting on you and gradually slowing you down. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to, instead of change Y, its position, I'm going to change its velocity. So I'm going to actually change the velocity to, say, well, let's try something. I'm going to try 10 and see what happens. So it's trial and error now. So I run it. And I press the spacebar. It's a bit small. But then this weird thing happens, and it flies in the air. See that? That's very strange. It seems to almost be stuck to the ground, and then as soon as it's in the air, I hit the space in the air, and whoa, up it goes. Okay, let's have a look. Now the reason that's happening is we spent an awful lot of effort turning the Y velocity to 0 when you're touching the ground. Here I'm saying when I'm hitting the space I want it to become 10, and these two things here are fighting each other. That's trying to change it to 0, that's trying to change it to 10. If I hit the space in the air though, I'm not fighting this, so it just instantly jumps it to 10 and up it goes into the air. Let's have a look at that. So if I hit space now, up it goes, and eventually it will fall to the earth again. There we go. Up again, well, up it goes, and eventually it will fall to the earth. So I'm giving it, now remember, the reason it's taking so long is I've set gravity just to 0.1. So 10 is actually 100 times greater than gravity. This is pretty impressive. If I change that to say a 1, we run it now, as I said, it's trial and error. I press the spacebar. You see how it's a little, okay, so that's not enough. So I'm going to say, well, let's try 5. Oops, wrong place. And run that. 5. There you go. It's getting there, so it's somewhere between 1 and 5. You see now how it looks gradually. This is actually looking quite realistic. It's a good jump, so maybe somewhere less than that. You don't have to use whole numbers. It's again, that's going to be your choice, what number you pick to make it look realistic, so you'll have to, with trial and error, modify that number. But we still have this problem of what happens when you're on the grass. And the other problem is, of course, I can fly. So we need to look at these two things happening and look at this. Now, the problem is that what's going on in here needs to affect what happens here. But this is an event. An event is an outside thing. It's me hitting space. It just runs. So somehow I've got to make a bit of code that can listen for when space is hit and still work within here. So we're going to use sensing. Okay. So we're going to add in the sensing, and that is, you see here it says when key is pressed. So this is, you'd say almost the same, but the difference is that that is the beginning of a sequence of events, whereas this we can put inside a question, inside an if instead. Okay. Right, so I'm going to get an if for this, because it doesn't do much on its own. There we go, I'm going to go if. So if the key is pressed, then Well, let's take, where is it? Oh, here it is. No, that's right, there it is. There it is. Move these two out of the way. Then set that. And so this is replacing our event. So I can now delete that. Now, I'm going to put that along with this set y to. I'm actually going to put it after. Position is critical here. That has to go after this. It's going to read that bit first, set it to 0, then it's going to ask this question. Okay. If I run this now, down to the platform, and I press the space, up it pops. So I've fixed that problem of these two things fighting each other, and I've done that by changing sequence. Yes, it will set it to 0 because it's on the ground, but then if I do a jump after that, it can change it to 5. The other thing I've fixed is if I hit the keyboard space when it's in the air, it ignores it until it gets to the ground again. And the reason it ignores it is because I've put it inside the question of, if you're touching the ground or you're lower. So we've now given a fairly realistic jump. This is quite nice, as we can now move at the same time as jumping. There we go. And that's how you set a realistic jump. Oop, got the flower. There we go. Right, give that a try.